guys, today I'm going to be doing an M600 remote controller. This is the Matrice remote controller. As you can see, it's similar to a Phantom remote. That's what I'm going to be doing. It's actually an Inspire 2 kit from Titan that's going to be put inside the remote. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First off, what you're going to want to do is remove all of these little screws right there, and it takes a very, very small Allen head. They're very, very small there, if you can see it there. And these 4 screws what they do is they hold on this back cover right here. As you can see, this HDMI cover right there. And so we are going to remove all 4 little silver screws. 2, 3, 4, just like that. Alright, so then once you have all of your screws removed, there's one more step that's actually not the same as a Phantom remote. And that is, it has this little live SDI port right here, if you can see that there. And there's a little silver ring on it right here that needs to be threaded off. And you can do this with a flathead screwdriver. There's little notches in there. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can remove it there, and then once it's loose you can spin it off with your finger there. Okay, and there that little silver ring is there. I'll show you so you can see it, and you can see it's got little notches on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then there's one more piece that will have to come off in there, and it's a little black plastic type washer. I'm just gonna get that up there. There we go. Being a little bugger. There we go. There we go. And so that's the plastic washer that's gonna be in there. Okay. Set that out to the side there. With my silver ring. Okay. Alright, so once that's removed, then you can take off this black plastic cover here and expose your HDMI board there. Okay. And so then there's going to be these 2 screws right here on there. And those are regular Phillips screws, so we'll remove those like so. There. Alright, so our HDMI board is loose now. There's little black plastic tangs here that hold in the ribbon cable. And it might be kind of hard to see, but all you'll do is just push those up. That's all they do there. And that releases the cable there. And you can grab this hard plastic piece, that's what it's there for, to pull it out. And you'll use that same black kind of plastic piece there to put them back in, to feed them back in. And then on the bottom here, your main OSD, you pop up the same little black tang, and then you're able to just pull it out, just like that. Then you can set your HDMI module off to the side. Alright, so now you've got this out. Now the next step, there is screws underneath here and here. And so what you're going to have to do is, I usually can just pull them up. The Titan kit will come with new sticky pieces. That's these here. And so you don't have to worry about saving the sticky pieces for underneath here. You're getting new ones for that. So you can just take a screwdriver or whatever and just kind of pry them up. Or whatever, a plastic screwdriver, doesn't matter. And that's clean. I already threw away the sticky plastic that was underneath there. So, and then these here, you can just pop out as well. Just like that. Alright, so then you can set your little rubber pieces off to the side. So like I said, there's a screw here, there's a Phillips screw here, here, and here. And so you'll take those out, like so. There's going to be 4 of them only that's held in there. Three and 4. Okay, so now you've got that. Now, before you just rip this thing apart, it is tight. Before you separate the case halves, though, you got to be careful because there is a battery clip that's underneath here, and if you just rip it up, you're going to break the battery cable. And so you can use that just like that. And then I got the case separated there. You want to make sure this isn't stuck. And if you can see it there, there's the battery cable that I'm talking about. And so you got to be careful to not just rip it up because you will break that. Just comes out, just fingers. So then there's your case half there. You can set that off to the side. All right, so now we're internal in the remote. There will be a couple of different things on here. You can see it has this extra antenna here. What this antenna is there's a 5.8 gigahertz antenna inside this antenna along with a 2.4. You can see two wires coming out of there. And what this antenna is for communicating with the other slave remote. So if you have two remotes, one controls the gimbal, and then one flies the drone. So this module here talks to the other remote, and that's how that remote controls the gimbal. That's a 5.8 gigahertz signal, and then the antennas are 2.4 gigahertz that control the drone. So that's kind of how that works there. So you need to be careful. With Titan, you can buy a little $5 antenna, and that will replace this. Some people, if they don't want to buy this, I highly recommend you do buy this. It's like $5. It's not very much. You can clip the 2.4 antenna off here and then just set it inside there. I don't like doing that way. I don't like clipping stuff, so I just go the route with just buying the correct piece. It's worth it. The Inspire one also has the same module in there. It needs to be done as well. So it's a good piece to buy, especially you don't want, I mean, clipping it, it works. I've done it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So that's my 2 cents on it. So now we're in the remote. Here are the two antenna wires right here. So these run up underneath the joysticks into the antennas there. So we got to work on getting this board out here. And so there is an adhesive glue that holds down this guy right here. And so you want to be careful because what you can do is you can actually rip the little connection off the board by just trying to pry this up, and so that will ruin it. It doesn't matter much if you ruin the cable, obviously, because you got a trace antenna, so that's not worth it. But that's what I would recommend, is just kind of cut it off there and do it that way. So then once you get this all off here, you can start working on getting this out just like that. Get your glue out and stuff like that, and then you can work on getting this antenna out. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Actually, I'm going to use a little plastic driver instead here, just to kind of pop this up and out of the way. And trust me, you don't want to force it. If you force it and you rip the pads off, that little soldered on connection there, you need a whole new board. If you rip the vanes out, there's not much you can do about it. So you really, really want to take the time and the effort to get this cleaned out of there so that you can pop your connection out of there. And as you can see, it's being even a little bugger on me. Just gonna keep on working at it here. Trying to do this so you guys can see it, but it's getting difficult. And you also want to make sure that you take care to not clip the board, because if you do that, you're really screwed. Let's see if I can get it up here. Let's see. I got one more piece here. Right there. Like that. There we go. Right, there we go. Alright. So now let's see if I can get this little bugger up. She's being a little bugger coming out of there. All right, I'm gonna pause the video here. So I worked on it a little bit off camera here. It was just gonna want me to see me cut glue. So I did end up getting it here. So what we're gonna do is pop this off, as you can see there. All right, so as you can see, the pads are still left there. The connection there is still left. So I got the glue off there. As you can tell, they put a lot of glue on there. They obviously don't want you monkeying around with it, so that's why you got to be extra specially careful taking this thing off, because I can't tell you how many people have done it. I did it my first time. I just ripped the thing off there, so it's not fun to try and replace that. DJI does not sell parts for these remotes, so you got to be extra specially careful taking this off, and it goes for Inspire ones as well. So anyway, so I'm back now. We'll work on getting our connections out. And so you can take a little needle nose plier, just make sure you work them back and forth. Don't try and just come straight up. You want to work it. Otherwise, you could definitely end up damaging stuff, and you don't want that. Let's try and get this guy up here. Jump. This one's being a little bugger. It's tough to get in there. Slipped and pinched my finger too. Let's see. I'm gonna work on this one. Any way you can get them up, just make sure you don't just try and pry one side up. You want to work it up, because otherwise you could damage the connection, and that's not going to be good. Sometimes they are little buggers to get up. You just got to work at it, and it will come. Try a little bit different of it. Pliers here, maybe it'll grab it better. There we go. And so, make sure you don't pinch your wires either. If you pinch the wires, it's not going to be good either. So, there we go. Right, that one's being a bugger. Here, let's get it up here. Can't get underneath there because that Wi-Fi module's in the way. Oh, there she comes. Well, she's coming. Be so careful with these things, otherwise they break. They're just so brittle. They just make this stuff, and it's not meant to come out. And they do that for a reason, so that we don't monkey around with our stuff, and we do. She's coming. There she comes. Okay. There we go. Alright. Jeez. Alright, that one's tough. Alright. So that one's a little bit tougher to get out of there. Anyway, so then there's a screw behind here, if you can see that there. And then there's going to be a screw. You don't touch these screws. Those screws don't hold down the board. There's another black screw. Only black screws you want to touch on the board. These, you do not want to touch those. Same little connections down here on the board. You can see that black tang I've already got pushed up there. That goes here. And then this one, the black tang, I already pushed up there. Number 2, you want to pull this guy out as well. Black tang up. They all have that little piece that you can grab onto there. So that's what you want to grab with those. And now I will work on my screws. Here. And then there's one right underneath these antenna cables here. Well, I'm in the way of the video, but it's tough to get at it there. I have to pop this out here quick. So these are clipped in there. They're a lot easier to take out when you have the board out, but I gotta kind of move it out of the way to get the screw out of there. There we go. Alright, so we got that screw there. Now the board will come up like so. Alright, and what you want to take note of is, so this antenna here runs underneath here, runs underneath this joystick, and then over to the far right antenna port, and then your right one runs to the left antenna port. Always hook back up stuff the way it came off. You don't want to hook stuff up backwards. Just be neat and clean with your installs, and you'll never ever have an issue taking stuff off here. So now that we've got our board, the antenna cables are holding on there. So I'm going to try and pop them off here. And all I'm doing is just trying to wedge this in there to pop the connection off. You got to work these off as well. Sometimes they can be a pain in the butt to take off. If you can get some sort of a tool in there to pull it off, there we go. You can pull it off that way. And then this guy here, work it off there. There we go. All right, so we got our module out there. That's your Wi-Fi board as well underneath there. So set that off to the side. So now, yeah, it's gonna kind of bust it a little bit, but it's all right. Doesn't matter because I'm putting the antennas back on there. Okay, so what we got now is our antennas and wires are out. Take note of the way that it runs. Right underneath there, this one here. This one here sometimes is glued down right inside here. So make sure you don't just rip it up, because sometimes they run the ribbon cable underneath here as well. So just be careful, because it doesn't matter if you ruin the antenna cable, but it matters if you ruin your ribbon cable, because that's your wheel up here. So definitely be careful with that. These guys here you're going to want to take off as well. Your wheels here, there's one screw inside of here. All right, there it is. And then you can take it off there. And what I do is I flip it around backwards, and I still stick it on this post, because it is connected to a ribbon cable, and if this falls off, it will tear the ribbon cable. Those things rip like a piece of paper, so you got to be very, very careful with those. Alright, so then you got to take out your joystick. There are 4 screws in here as well. Take my hands in the way, I'm trying to get that out of there. There we go. 3, 4. Alright, 4th one there. Okay. Alright, so now our joystick is loose. You can kind of work it out of here. So you don't want that to happen. Thank God the cable is loose and not glued down, but a lot of them are, so that could have ended up badly. Take your joystick out here. Alright, then you got your antenna cables here. Take this up quick so we can unrun this cable here. We're going to put it back on there for safekeeping. Now, getting the antennas out without breaking them is kind of a pain. Usually they don't want to save them, but I'm going to try and save them just for you guys so that you can see. One side of these has an actual lip on it that you can see, and it's this side. So if you can push that in with a flathead screwdriver, and then, so kind of a pain in the butt there, but I ended up getting it off. Just didn't want, you guys didn't have to see me fighting it. So the silver deal will be left on here with the other antennas, but you can see there that I did get it out without ruining it. So there's one antenna there. I got to do the same with the other side here. And so what we're going to do is unscrew this here. Get this one out of the way. This one does have a different screw than the other side, so make sure you make note of that. This is a short screw with kind of a washer built into it. and the other side is a long one, so make sure you take note of that when you're putting it back in, because if you put the long one in on this side, you will break the plastic shaft that goes down there, so you don't want that. That won't be any good. So this side again, I'm just going to kind of do the same thing and fight with this thing a little bit and try and get it undone here. That side's off. And all I'm trying to do is just to press this lip inside of there to try and get the antenna to come out. So that's all I'm doing. Sometimes you gotta fight with it. Now you can cut this lip off with a hobby knife. So that is possible if you don't want to save the antennas. I try and save the antennas just in case customer wants to go back or something like that, and we're able to put them back for the customer. A lot of times it's just not possible, so especially if you're doing it, you can just leave a set of whips on it. There we go. I got this one out a lot easier. So that one popped out pretty easy there. You can see the lip that I'm talking about right there. That's the lip, and so that's what holds that antenna in there. And so again, this side has two antennas, and one side is the 5.8. So looks like we're gonna have to take this one out too here. Here we go. Some order there. There we go. So I'm going to take this one up as well, just so I have, most of the screws are the same as well, so you shouldn't have a problem, you know, locating a screw. They're pretty easy to find where they go. They'll only kind of fit in one spot. So alright, so we got those two antennas out. Let me see if I can pop this one open so I can show you here. Alright, so what you have the ability to do here is your 2.4 gigahertz antenna is up here, and your 5.8 one that talks to the slave controller is right here. And so I don't know if you can see that pattern on there or not, the side that does not have anything on this side. So what people can do is they can clip it right there, and then discard this, and then tuck this inside here. This is going to replace that. So that's what I'm talking about. That's why there are two there. So you do have the option to clip this, but I'm not going to, because I was able to save both these antennas, so that's what I'm going to do. So now we got an empty remote. What we're going to do is we're going to take our kit, unscrew them like so. And we're going to take our two black plastic pieces here. That, like that. Put a nut back on there. And so I know you guys are going to probably have your screws in order. I've been doing this so long that I just know, I've taken these remotes apart so many times that I just know what goes where. So it's not a huge issue for me. You want them to snap in just like that. We'll put our silver piece back on there, and then we will put this in here. Screw this side. There is going to be a washer that comes in here. This is just something that comes with it. You can discard it. It's not needed. I'm going to put that in there like that. That in there like that. So you just sandwich it together. Put your nut back on to hold the two pieces together. Okay. And then snap it back in. Just like that. Alright, so we got our antennas in now, like that. So now we need to rerun our antennas underneath our joysticks. So, do here, just like this, and put it back down. Now, what's crucial here is you don't pinch any of your wires. They are meant to run underneath these. But what you don't want to do is squish them. Because if you squish them, you're going to be in a bad spot. So even these here, they're stickied underneath. There's a piece of two-sided tape that holds them underneath there, but you can squish these. So be extremely careful putting these back on. Make sure that you can tug both ends and both ends move freely when you're putting it back on, because you only have one chance and you really don't want to mess it up. So I want to make sure my antenna wire moves freely, which it does. And then these guys here move freely, so I know that I'm not pinched in there. So that's a good thing. So put this here, this. Okay. All right. So everything moves freely. I know I didn't pinch anything, so I know this one's good. All 4 screws are in. Now, I'm going to tuck this one and run this one underneath, like so. But this is the lip where you can pinch stuff in there. And that's why I'm saying be super careful, because that lip there comes down and joins in this thing. And it is extremely easy. I can't tell you how many times I did that when I was just starting out doing these and trying to get going. It's easy to do, so you gotta be careful. So there we go. I'm free, and I'm free. So I know now that everything is in order and it's not pinched. Away from me there. Alright, make sure that's good. Yep, and that one's good. Okay, alright, just making triple sure that I'm good. Alright, tighten everything down here. Do not pinch that. Okay. Okay. And I'll stop this video. I won't make you see me put everything back in here, but I want to do some of the crucial points with you here while I'm installing stuff back in, so that we don't pinch it. Okay. Alright, so now we can be ready for the Wi-Fi board. So remember, left went to right. And I forgot to... That's right. Well, this one I can just tuck back in here. There we go. So, okay. So left to right, and then right to left. And now that's if I'm looking at it, so I'm just using reference. It should click in just like that. Nothing special. Make sure they're facing up like this, otherwise it's hard to get that board back down in there. And I'm just making sure that it's going to clip in there correctly, because I don't want it to be... There we go, clipped in. Alright, so now I got both my wires in there. Make sure that your ribbon cables and all your other cables are up and over so that you can re-plug them back in. Alright, just like this. Sometimes it's tough to get this thing back down in there. You just don't want to pinch anything in there is all. Right. Just trying to get it back over its holes here. I know my hands are in the way, but I have to use all my fingers to keep everything up and out of the way here so that it goes back down. Sometimes you fight with it. Okay. There we go. Alright, she's lined back up. Sometimes this black little rubber piece here that for the lights falls off, so make sure that you have that in when you're putting this back on here. because if you don't, you'll have to take it back off. So, alright, so all my ribbon cables are up. Okay. Got everything run like that. Alright, so now I'm going to put back in my 2 screws to hold this board down so that it doesn't move when I'm trying to run these other cables in here. So, that one in there just like that. Don't go too tight. This is plastic. If you go too tight, you will strip out the screw and you will not hold down your board. It's plastic. It does not have to be crazy tight. Just snug. That's it. That's it. That's all you want. You don't want any more. If you do any more, you definitely run the risk of ruining stuff, and you don't want that. So, alright, so now, okay. Sometimes you just gotta play with these as well, just to get them in there. Keep them in there. Because you don't want them coming out. That would not be good. Alright, so I'll mess with that in a little bit when I'm ready to put everything back down in there. So maybe I can glue it or tape it in there as well. You just don't want it popping up. So anyway, so you want to put all of your clips back in. They are numbered, so 5 and 5 will line up in there. It's 5, 5, okay? You can see this one is number 4. So what I'll do is I'll run this through there, maybe. Might be the easiest way to do this. Just wanting to flip over anyway. And sometimes these black tangs get pushed back down, and so if they do, you'll have a hard time getting the ribbon cable in there, and you'll know why. Go. Come on. There we go. Push it in there. There's a white line for reference there that needs to be pushed to. So my number 2 here is down as well. Alright, so then now don't forget about number 3. Number 3 is tucked in there, and the tang got pushed back down, so I will push that back up. And number 1, there's 2 underneath here, so make sure you don't forget about those, because your wheel will not work if you do. Go. Trying to get them fed in there is kind of a bugger. There we go. Number 3, lightly push down the tang. There we go. And then number 1 will be this, and number 2 will be your wheel there. So that's what those are. You want to make sure your wires and stuff are out of the way when you put your stuff back down, so you don't pinch it in there as well. There's a lot of places to pinch your wires in here, so you just got to be extra vigilant about where your wires are run and that you don't pinch them down. This one feeds down in there like that. Make sure it's on its point there. And then we've got this other ribbon cable, which is number 2. And so that will go into number 2 slot right there. Okay. Now, you can see my ribbon cables here are kind of on the way, in the way. And if you clip these back down in there, when you push the 2 case halves together, you will snap those ribbon cables. So just be extra vigilant. A little bit of tape isn't a bad thing if you need to, so that they don't come out. I'm going to try and tuck this wire around them to see if I can get them to stay in there like that, just so that it does not get clamped in there. There we go. Okay. Alright, try and get it back down in there. These things rip extremely easy. So, there we go. Now I got it out of the way. Okay, so now, we forgot about this guy here. We need to put him back underneath there. Like so, underneath the board. Go. Try and slide it in with my finger there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Right, and then we're going to put our other wheel in. Again, make sure you don't clamp in your antenna wire. It's something I've done too. I've, especially on the Inspires. I don't do a lot of M600 remotes. These are pretty expensive drones, so but the Inspire ones are almost identical. Phantoms are pretty close as well, so run that on that side of that just so it doesn't get pinched in there when you put your screw back down. This is the side with a short screw. Okay, and again, you saw me being rough with the antennas coming out, but sometimes they just can't be saved. Some of them come out super easy, and some just come out like a pain in the butt. So those were kind of fighting me, so I just said kind of screw it. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So this one is number 1. This needs to be fed down in there. So I might have to do this out of the camera view because I cannot do it using both hands here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Alright. I believe this Wi-Fi board comes up. And so if I can't get this, I will remove it. You can pop it up, but I try and take off the least amount of pieces I can. The less pieces that I take out, the less possibility of something breaking. I warranty all of my remotes that I touch against anything. So if I were to break something while I'm doing the install, I buy you a new remote. Period. Or I buy the piece that it needs and I fix it. So when I do these, I might be fighting myself a little bit by not taking that piece out, but again, the less pieces that I take out, the better. So all I'm trying to do is get a hold of that little hard plastic piece so I can push it in. There she goes. Oh, shoot. Go. Let's try that. I did end up getting it with a little bit of a fight there. That's why I stopped the camera so you didn't have to see me fight the entire time trying to get that stupid thing off there. So I did get it. So number 1's in there. So there, kind of got that back. Now I'm going to put this back in there. Just getting all my connections in, making sure they're snug. These connections here are for the joystick. So what I might do, be careful if you're going to use a tool. Sometimes you just have to get in these spots that my huge fingers can't get into. There we go. So that guy there. There's this guy. There we go. It's this guy. Make sure they're lined up. If they're not lined up, you can push the pins in. I think you know what can happen if you push the pins in, so it's not a good outcome. They don't usually recover from the pins being pushed in, so just make sure they're lined up. That one's getting away from me a little bit. There we go. Okay, so connections are in, antenna wires are run, ribbon cables are in, board's tight, everything's tight, nothing's pinched. So this is a good example of a good clean install, besides me kind of breaking the antennas, but they just were not cooperating at all. So I didn't feel like saving it. So that's your install there. I got a few more pieces to put together. Remember, this is the main board. I've also got to run the trace antenna here, And so I want to run this first. And now you can run it all underneath there, but you know, you really don't have to. You only really need to run it underneath this guy here. Probably would have been a better idea to run it without that piece back on there, but I can see it, so I think I can fish it through here real easy. If not, I'll take it back off, but I'm pretty sure I can get it. Yeah, I should have done this with, but there we go. Alright, so pretty easy to fish through there. I'll just put it back in the same spot there. Might clean this off a little bit more, just so that I got a good clean connection and I don't have any problems with this remote when they're using it, because I know they're going to use this for the slave. So there we go. Now I got it all kind of cleaned off there. There we go. So got a good clean stick there. Now putting these in is key to make sure you have stuff lined up, because if you don't and you push this down, you can bend the pin inside of there if it's not put in there correctly. So I got a good clean one there. I use a screwdriver to push it down. This trace antenna does have an adhesive back to it, so you just peel off this guy here, and then all we're gonna do, just, you know, put it wherever it's gonna stick. Kind of got a couple areas here to put it onto, so I'm just going to put it, but I don't want any antenna sticking up either, an antenna wire I guess I should say, because that again is something that can be pinched and we don't want it pinched. So if you can get it stuck inside there, great. There we go. I don't like how that's wrapped, but try and get it out of there. There we go. There. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to tuck this right here. Tuck that in there because that's where it was. If it will, I guess I should say. And sometimes you got to play with it maybe a little bit to try and get it running there. As long as you don't have any sticking out, that's just the only thing we don't want, is it sticking out. There we go. Can run in there. The ribbons. There we go. I think I'm going to throw a piece of tape on that just to be 100% on the safe side here. That piece didn't do it. Well, it's in there now. I'll just leave it. There we go. There we go. Alright, so never mind. It's tucked in there now, so I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Chance of messing it up if I mess with it, so alright, so all my connections in, all my connections good, my trace antenna is on, made sure all that's good. Now I'm going to put back on the case. Remember your battery connection here, so we'll plug that in first. Okay. Alright, and then this piece here needs to feed up through this middle port here, so you got to make sure. You can sometimes just bend it up out there, and it should go in pretty easy. Before I press this down, though, I'm going to make sure that nothing's going to get pinched in there. And there shouldn't be anything pinched if it goes down nice and smooth. So here you want to press down right there. Okay. Didn't get this fully snapped, and there we go. All right, so that's fully snapped in. Sometimes you got to press on that top part. You'll see it. Same with the bottom here. You got to press right at that tab, and then it snaps it in. So I got a good clean clip. Nothing seemed pinched. It went right in very, very easily. So I'm going to put my 4 screws back in here as well, like this. These hold down my case half. Okay. Alright, so we got our screws back in there. We're going to apply our adhesive to the back of the rubber. So this should just come right off there. Get a different piece. There's 3 pieces just in case you mess one up or you can't get one off or something like that. So, alright, so there's that piece there. And I'm going to stick it right on there. The good 3M adhesive, so it should stay real nice. That. I'll do the same for the other one. Here it comes. There's that. Okay, and then that 3M backing is going to come off. We will now put back on our kit here, and then I'll do this part. You don't need to see that part. What we need to do is we need to remove this right here with a flat head there, and then we need to unscrew this right here like so. Take that off here, and now your antenna ports. You'll unscrew your nut. Screw that one. That. Take your T-lock here, put it over your antenna wires like so. Okay. Put your nuts back on your antenna to hold down the T-lock, and this is a 9mm socket that hold these nuts on here. Start them by hand though, so you don't strip them, because if you strip them, you're taking the whole antenna back apart. So that, then this can just go right back on like so. Sometimes it needs to be pushed down a little bit so you can feed your thread. This. There we go. Okay. Sometimes that's a little bugger, but I got it back in there now. And then put back in your flathead here like so. These are pretty easy to take off, so sometimes it's a pain in the butt. I suppose you could put this in first, but and then you got your T-lock on. Right like that. Tighten up your nuts. Tighten up this. Then you've got your T-lock on there. I'm going to put back on these. You saw me take those apart. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Let Covert Jones do your install if you're not into taking them all apart. Sometimes they're a bugger to take apart. So let me do them and let me take the risk. If something ruins, then so be it. And then I take all the risk and you reward. Thanks for watching.